What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm Ant.
Anthony.
Yes.
Not James.
Not James.
Why Anthony and not James?
I believe James has a bad back for this episode.
Oh, yeah, well, yes, unfortunately he does. Well,
that's why I'm here anyway. So.
Well, I mean, that's why you're... I guess we can, just... You were coming here anyway.
I was coming here regardless, yeah.
I'm not being snidey and replacing James just because I wanted
Not just yet.
to.
We'll see how this episode goes and see if the fans prefer me or not. Sorry, James.
Yeah, exactly. If the listenership shoots up, James can go bye-bye.
This is it.
How are you doing, Ant?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it so people might think James is here. I'm good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And I mean, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about one of our favourite games.
Yeah, baby.
We've been having a lot of games recently.
We have.
We've suspiciously been able to have a game night almost every week.
Yes, that's how I like it.
It's quite often it's spur of the moment, but we have been having those game nights. We've been playing some new games, which has been very, very good.
Yes.
Get
our little fix in.
But before we talk about Unmatched later, would you like to talk about some of the games we have been playing?
Oh, okay. Let's go for it.
What would you like to talk about first? Because we've had few game nights.
We've done a fair few since the last couple of episodes. I'm kind of glad I've got you guys into challenges.
Yes, you introduced us.
I've gone with that first because it's one game of the year, and rightly so, because it is a great game. I was kind of worried because, again, when games get too much hype over it, it's like, is it good enough or not? And I believe you guys had a great time with it and quite enjoyed it yourself. So
yeah, I mean, a couple of the games we played have had great hype, but sticking with challenges, it was quite surprising to me because when it won the awards, I'd not really heard much about it.
Yeah,
I was sort of interested to try it, but then realised you couldn't really get hold of it here. But then obviously you announced that you had a copy of it, and the stars aligned. We got a game group to go, and you sort of said, "Oh, do you want to?
Let's give it a try.
Do you want to play this?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then. Let's give it a go." And it was surprisingly fun.
Yeah, I'm glad.
It was quite lightweight though.
Yes,
which surprised me quite a bit because considering the awards that it won, I felt very, very lightweight.
It's quite simple for this is a game of the year game. You expect something a bit more detailed, a bit more depth, sort of thing, don't you? But
yeah, I mean, the obvious thing is that things like Acropolis and that have won it previously, so clearly it doesn't have to be the heaviest weight of games. But yeah, I really did enjoy challenges. It's another game I want to play again very soon, I think.
Hopefully with 4 players this time, so we don't have to put an AI in it.
Yes, yeah. I would say that was the one thing I would say I really noticed about it was you've got that multiplayer count, and it can go up to quite high counts, which I think is really cool. But for me, if it's anything other than even numbers, it's a shame because you have to put in that AI, and I don't like inputting AI and stuff into the game. Just kind of makes me feel like, well, they didn't really think that through, did they?
Yeah, I mean, I see where you put it, but again, it's a nice little backup as well in case, again, you arrange for 4 people and then they're like, oh, someone backs out last minute. James. I'm only joking, James. But yeah, again, I can see where you're coming from because it's like, oh, well, now I have to go against this and, I'd rather be going against an actual person. But yeah, I totally see your point.
I thought one thing about the AI, though, was it really shocked me how well it's scaled per round.
Yes.
Because, I was the first one to go against it, and I beat it quite easily in round 1.
Yeah, first couple of rounds is always easy, isn't it?
When I faced it again, I think it was round 4, it was hang on a minute, this is hard.
He's actually putting up a challenge now.
Yeah, the deck didn't change. No. It was exactly the same, but the difference was I think there were certain cards that got more powerful per round.
It's equivalent to the round number, isn't it? So that card is like 4 this time, and then these goes up to 7 rounds, so... Yeah, it gets more tougher. But I like that, though.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's not going to be like, I'm going against the AI. This is quite easy, remember?
It did get to the point, though, where it was winning so many games and, getting those...
It might have actually won the game.
We might actually lose to the AI.
This is it, yeah.
So, I mean, what sort of game would you say Challenges really falls under? Because to me, it's very deck builder. Because you are 100%. Building a deck.
Yeah. It's like I class it as a cross between a deck builder, possibly like a party game as well, if you think about it, depending on your audience as well.
Yeah. It's definitely lightweight enough that you could introduce this at
my daughter loves this game. She's not even 10 years old yet. And, again, it's an easy game for kids to get into as well. My wife is the sort of person that likes just typical easy ruled games to play.
Yep.
She really likes this. Again, it's just simple. It's literally just putting cards down who's got the highest number.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Exactly. Very, very fun game to play. I think there's more to see, weirdly, because obviously the decks that you can get cards from, they're quite substantial. I don't think we saw all the cards.
No way. We didn't. There was a deck you don't put in the first time playing it either, so you can go back, you can throw that deck in, and again, totally different game at the end of the day. Yeah.
Very much looking forward to trying that part of the game out as well. So we'll have to make sure we get another game of that soon.
Yes, please. Hopefully with 4 players.
Yes, that would be really, really good. Another game we played recently, we brought out a bit of a classic, really, didn't we?
We did.
Because we got a game of Scythe.
We did. Trip down memory lane.
I finally gave in to James badgering me constantly that he wanted to play Scythe. Mainly because I finally got my own copy of Scythe. I was gifted it by one of our club members, which very, very grateful. Thank you, Rob. Since then, I've spent probably too much money upgrading the damn thing.
That organizer you got, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. You haven't seen it in person.
Not
yet.
in person.
I'll show you after we get off the recording. But yeah, it was nice to see that again. Even though the whole purpose of James constantly wanted to play it was to break out my copy and break
we
it
ended up doing my copy.
And we ended up playing with your legendary box.
Legendary box. But we still played. But we played. I don't think we did anything with add-ons. I think you might have had an add-on.
I had
Clan.
I had an add-on Clan, but other than that,
apart from that, it was box standard, really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who won though.
I think you did.
I think
you or James did. It definitely wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me.
No, you really struggled to get out of the gate on that game.
Well, the thing was, I got up high on the popularity part, but I forgot to do everything else. So I was just like,
you were popular though.
That was popular. I mean, yeah, it's all right getting up there, but then you got to do the rest, Dan. So
you were the dystopian influencer on YouTube.
This is it. I started to spread out. The next minute, James put his 6th bloody star down. So I was like, oh, don't have a chance now, really. But what a game, man! I mean, this is a game I don't think I've played for at least, I'm going to say, just nearly 2 years probably. And it just reminds me how much I love this game. It's always going to be in my top 10, this game.
Yeah.
It's just, I friggin' love it so much.
It's such a good game. And I'm the same. I haven't played it for so long. Yeah, I always remember it, always know it. It's got great components. Lack of a box insert. Lack of a box insert. Stonemaier really let me down on that one. After they gave us awesome stuff for like Wingspan and stuff like that. And then we got lots of stuff and lots of air for it to fall about in. But, whatever. I've dealt with that now with the most expensive box insert I think I've ever bought. But hey-ho. Yeah, great components. The boards are great. I love the expansions that you get. I don't think I'm personally going to expand mine quite to the extent.
Yeah.
Because I know you've got the legendary box.
We can just bring it over, can't we?
If we want to play the expanded stuff. That's what you're for. I keep getting badgered by multiple people that I've got to try the campaign.
Yes.
Even by people that know I can't stand campaign games. So, is it worth doing the campaign, do you reckon?
Comment below, let us know, folks.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a very good point. Always forget that exists.
Yeah. Not that anyone ever comments on my podcast, but I always say, comment below, let us know.
We occasionally get comments on like the YouTube version of this.
Right,
obviously, okay. There's no video, it's just the audio.
Sure.
You occasionally get that. But the problem is I always forget to check it.
Yeah.
And then I see it 6 weeks later.
And they're like, oh, you don't reply to your fans.
I was like, yeah, I'm so my bad. Hold my hands up at that.
All fairness, I need to look back and see if anyone has actually commented. But no, Scythe, man, great game. And again, it was easy to remember everything. Even though, you go back to rule games and you're like, oh, does this do this, do that? I think we just nailed it straight away, really, didn't we?
Yeah,
I think the last thing we got confused on was the scoring, and that was it.
Yeah, and it was just clarification of how the end of game scoring worked and stuff like that. Quick little refresh of the rules in the rule book, and boom, we were off and running. So yeah, Scythe, really, really good. Still love it, even now. Will gladly play it if anyone ever asks me to. That
is definitely, considering how long it takes to set up and everything, if anyone says let's play, I'm game, regardless.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. It's always going to be high up on that list of games. I think it's now that it's in my collection, I think it's slotted its way into that.
Back into
it's never going to leave my collection.
Nice.
So, I say that, knowing full well that there's been games, I've said that before, that are long gone. So,
mind you, I've said that about stuff. I've done a whole episode about stuff that you won't sell. Half of it's gone.
Yeah.
So we might need to redo that top 5.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what Anthony will never sell and then sell, there's an episode for you to listen to. Great stuff. Absolutely love it. This is why I love having you on. So, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was Scythe. We also played. I'm gonna leave last night's game till last because I'm gonna really enjoy talking about the next one because I know James was really excited to talk about this.
Okay.
We got to play a new version of Crokinole.
Oh yes, we did.
Now, James,
I was wondering where you was going for a second. I'm like, oh yes, of course.
Yeah, James loves this version.
Yes.
So I'm going to have great pleasure talking about it because then once I've talked about it, I've officially talked about it. A game that I've played recently, and therefore James doesn't get to talk about it. So Crokinole Imperium. Ant, run us through very quickly what Crokinole Imperium is.
Crokinole Imperium is basically a deck of cards that will give you 3 different types of stipulations to change your game of playing Crokinole. In a standard game of Crokinole, you are playing up to the first person to 100 points, whereas in Crokinole Imperium, it's the first person to 10 points. But obviously, there are different ways to get an A point. By winning the match, for example, having the highest, whatever, regardless of the score is, or by clocking your cards to say that you've done whatever it is on the card to say and get that point for it. First to 10 wins.
Nice. It's a very good description there.
Yeah, it's a lot easier because obviously I can't explain some of the cards. Not many people are familiar with Crokinole as it is, but for a game, I mean, when I told you Crokinole Imperium is coming, you were like, "What is that?" And I was quite surprised that you didn't know anything about it.
So am I.
Again, I was very worried about introducing it to you guys. And now, like you said, I think it's now James's new favourite thing at the moment.
Definitely. 100%.
Like, you've come over twice in 2 weeks now, and literally the board's been out that amount of times already, considering how long we've not played Crokinole for. Do you think about it?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a cracking game again.
So, I mean... To talk about it a little bit, I do really enjoy it because I love Crokinole as it is. You know, if you hear my thoughts on Crokinole, we did a whole episode on it. Go back and listen to it. Mm-hmm. But Crokinole Imperium, for me, has really upped the game. Now, has it replaced my love of original Crokinole? No, it hasn't. I'll happily just play box standard Crokinole. However, with the way the whole thing works, we've got those 3 decks of like altering rules or whatever. Like the yellow deck is probably my favourite.
Yeah.
Because that's a card that basically adds a stipulation for everyone.
I was about to say round. I prefer the yellow cards, personally.
And it could be something like, if you don't score a 20, it gets taken off the board.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so you never have this issue of having to shoot at an opponent's disc.
Yeah.
You're just shooting for that 20. And I like that one because I'm quite... You know, I'm quite good at getting the 20s.
I like the score reversed, so that the 20 hole is a 5, and the 15 is now 10, whatnot. Yeah, I do like that.
The scoring's reversed, but the rules stay the same. So you still have to. If it's an empty table, you still have to shoot for the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So even though you go for the 5 now, it's not a 20 anymore.
Exactly, and you actually want to be on the outside. Oh, it's brilliant. It adds so much to the game.
Yeah.
And I'll cover it. The reason James likes it is James, by his own admission, is not great. Crokinole, he really enjoys it, but he's not the best.
Yeah.
He found that this one really leveled the playing field for him.
Okay.
Whereas when it's all points based, he was finding that he just could never keep up.
Yeah.
And, you know, perfect example would be like a game we played last night. I think out of my 12 discs, I had 10 of them on the board at the end.
Yeah.
You know, and that would have been almost my 100 points in one go.
Yeah, regardless, yeah.
Whereas James had 2. So it was, you know, if that had been normal Crokinole, he's been demolished. But because it wasn't normal Crokinole, the worst he got was we lost a point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of the... Again, you don't have to concentrate as much with Crokinole Imperium, do you? Because you've got 2 other cards that can win you the game regardless of not winning the match, full stop. So I think that aspect of it is not, you know, it's not the first to 100 now, it's literally first to a point.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to concentrate as much as you do with it. But for James, who's not a fan of dexterity games, to see him play this and really have a laugh of it is saying something. It's got to be, isn't it? So But no, I'm very, very surprised that you guys liked it, and I really do appreciate that you still play it as well.
Definitely, yeah. I can see us doing an updated episode on it at some point.
Yeah, and just a deck of cards. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Deck of cards. Really nice deck of cards. The cards
very
feel
fancy,
really
isn't
good
it?
as well. Yeah,
very, very fancy.
Come in that nice little deck box as well.
Yeah, nice leather box.
Very nice. So
I did try sleeving them, by the way, but they don't fit in the box. So annoying.
Negatives.
Yeah.
Writing that down.
That's the negative feedback right there.
How could they improve this? Make the damn box bigger.
Make it sleeve friendly.
There you go. So that's Crocodile Imperium.
We did a small game as well. I don't know if you remember.
Pray remind me. I probably do.
It was the famous TikTok song, Dumb Ways to Die.
Yes.
A card game.
Do you know what? I was trying to remember what it was called.
I knew we played 4 games that night, and I was trying to remember what it was. And then I looked at my small box. I'm like, there it is right at the top.
I remember enjoying it, and I remember it being fun, but I don't remember how the game played or anything like that.
It's a very quick game, wasn't it? So,
but yeah, from if my memory serves correctly, you start with 3 cards in front of you, which are your
health.
lives.
Yeah.
And you get a hand of cards. Some of them can be reactive cards. Some of them can be aggressive cards. So I could play something like, Anthony, I'm targeting you, and I'm telling you to die. And
I need a certain card to either stop that or block it. Yeah, basically.
And obviously, if you can't block it, you flip over a life.
Right,
If you lose all 3 lives, you're eliminated from the game. Last person standing wins. But
yeah, pretty much. And then you've obviously got the dice to set over turn to give you the amount of actions you have as well.
Yes, that was the other thing. Yeah. So you your turn sequence. You roll the dice. It tells you how many actions you get.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a modification on roll to move.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I seem to roll really well. I got 3 on almost every single one.
Especially the card that says you need to roll 1 to survive, and you just kept doing it. Then me and James are literally down to 1 life for that card.
See, I did like that. That whole thing of when a certain card comes up, you then have to start rolling.
I was very surprised because we done 1 round and you were like, let's go again. I'm like, really? Yeah. So again, glad you enjoyed that as well.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like 5 minutes. Really quick game. Yeah. I'd like to play it again. Not a game I'm going to break out a lot.
No, of course not.
I'm not going to buy it.
You want something quick for 10 minutes, done and done.
Exactly. Lovely. Final game that I think we'll talk about before we move on. This is one I've been itching to play since probably before UK Games Expo, but especially since Games Expo, because I didn't buy it and I regretted it. Then I found out you bought it and I didn't regret it quite so much. And now I think I regret it again.
Oh, okay.
Because we played Distilled.
We did.
How did you like it?
It was my first time playing it with you guys. Just playing it full stop as well.
Yep.
I'll be honest, I was a bit worried about trying to take in all the rules. I mean, the game has 7 rounds. I think you guys pretty much cleared out by round 3. It took me till round 5 to really hang about. So this is how I distill. This is how I sell. Such and such. So apart from that, I mean, I think it was really good, to be honest.
There's a lot of asymmetric play in the game, which I definitely liked. Again, I found it quite good because you got your sort of round summary card.
Yeah.
And that broke down everything you could do.
Yeah.
So first thing we do, so anyone who's got this particular logo anywhere on the board, they resolve that first.
Yeah.
Then you do your buying phase, which is your market phase. You've got cards that you can buy from, which is your ingredients.
Yeah, you've got an ingredients deck and you've got the premium side of the deck, haven't you? So
for those who don't know what Distilled is and you can't figure it out from the title, you are basically alcoholics trying to... No.
trying to make booze for more alcoholics.
You're running a brewery, trying to create alcohol, and you're doing it by buying ingredients, putting it into a deck, then shuffling the deck, and then having to remove 2 cards from the deck, one from the top, one from the bottom of the deck.
That I love.
I do love that
part.
And then obviously turning over what you've got left, and then figuring out from your purchased recipes what you can actually make.
Yeah.
And if you don't have stuff that you can make, you make the best drink in the world, which is obviously moonshine.
Yes.
So you're always going to make something.
Yeah, regardless, you'll make something,
But you might not make something that's going to gain you a lot of points. No, exactly. It might not be what you planned on making. So I really did enjoy that. Your first phase is buying your ingredients. The second phase was distilling. So that's where you put all your cards together. Then it was the
selling phase.
And I liked this part of it as well. because you could opt to sell what you made.
That's right.
Or you could put it into
a storeroom
and age it.
Yes.
Which would make it better and ultimately gain you more points. However, certain drinks
can't age. Yeah.
Aged. So that sort of added a nice little bit of complexity. And then finally, it's
such a gamble doing that though, because you're holding back what you could earn points wise.
Yeah.
So again, that's another part of that game I really liked was do you take the gamble and age it for 1 round, 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds?
And
who
I
knows?
think all of us did actually just age something in the game.
Yeah, I only did it for 1, but I think you and James done it for like 2 or 3.
I only did it for 1.
Did you?
And James did it for 1, but he did it basically the entire game, so he got a lot of aging.
So he aged it for a few rounds.
I only aged it for 2 turns.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that my aging really benefited because I think I made something that had, what was it? Was it marshmallow?
Yes,
spicy marshmallow
spicy
whiskey?
Marshmallow whiskey. No, it was something else was in that as well. Something sweet as well, but I can't remember. I know James made like some bacon.
But it was lovely, wasn't
it? Was it bacon?
No, that was James's.
Bacon flavoured gym bag flavor or something.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah. It was like, bacon flavoured gym bag and socks.
That's it. And then mine was the best of skunk flavoured gin. Of all things.
So mine was...
I should have gone another day of agents. See if I got a better one.
Yeah, mine was the only one that actually sounded like, oh my God,
an actual flavour. No, wasn't it like a vanilla or something? Yes, it was.
Vanilla, definitely a marshmallow.
Yes,
and it was definitely spicy.
That's it, yeah.
And it was definitely whiskey.
Because me and James looked at each other like, I'd actually give that a go.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Biggest thing I took away from playing this game was I must be an alcoholic because I just wanted a nice tumbler of whiskey on the rocks while I was playing
should have done.
game.
We have to do that next time, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you like the 6th or 7th round, mate. You were just a mastermind of that game. You were like 100 points over by the end of the game. It was ridiculous. You got so into it and you knew how to do it straight away. So you were like, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to plan this now or not. And now, like you just said, you're thinking about your next game, how you're going to do it. So.
All day today. All day. I've been thinking about that game and I'm like, no, I really want to play it. I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. And I really, really did enjoy that. And that gives me the positive vibes that I clearly enjoyed it. The fact that I'm constantly thinking about it.
Hopefully we'll get an episode review on it then. Maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good. It's obviously a fairly in-depth game, so I think a few more extra plays.
Yes.
Normally we have our minimum of 3.
Yeah.
I think this one needs just a little bit more.
Well, we've got different types of drinks on the checkboard thing as well, so give those a different go as well. See if it plays any different.
I think you're right. I did actually take to that game like a fish to water, really. After the first round, I was like, I know what I need to do. It was kind of like a mathematical equation for me. It's like, right, it's this balancing act of I need to make sure I've got enough ingredients in there because the amount of sugar I put in affects the amount of alcohol that goes into it. And the alcohol gets me money.
Yeah.
And also covers me if I take out the wrong ingredients.
Exactly.
And it was.
I love that aspect.
I needed to figure out that mathematical equation. As soon as I got it, I was like, that's it. That's the winning formula. That's what I'm going to do every turn.
That's it.
Because obviously you could only take certain ingredients once or twice. And it was like, I need to do the balancing act of, I need to be able to do this every turn. How do I do that every turn?
Yeah. I do like the idea that when you take stuff out, you don't lose it either.
Yeah.
It goes back in your pantry so you can use it for maybe the next round.
Exactly.
So you haven't actually lost it. It's just the ingredient that's come out. So again, great little mechanic.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of drew me to it when I saw the demo at Expo.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very, very glad you bought it. And
I am actually, to be honest.
I'm now very close to buying it myself.
Good. Do it.
But there you go. Distilled. Lots of games we've been playing recently. That's 5. We've talked about.
Well, there is one
games.
more you missed out, but I won't. I don't know if you want me to mention it or not.
Go for it.
Hijacked. You introduced me to Hijacked.
We did. Yes, me and James talked about it on the last time, but you were introduced to it.
I loved it, mate. And so I loved it so much. I bought a copy of it.
Have you?
I did. My guys played it last week and loved it.
No way.
Absolutely
I did not know you bought it.
I bought it in the end.
Fantastic.
So,
really glad you enjoyed it.
I really, really did enjoy it. Play it, guys, if you ever get a chance.
Episode of that coming very soon. Very, very soon, in fact. But that's the games we played this week. Shall we talk about probably the most played game the past year, I reckon?
Most definitely. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Okie dokie, guys. So this is the next in our little mini series, shall we say, on the Unmatched game collection. So they're all individual games, but they are also expansions for the main game system itself. And for this one, we are going for Cobble and Fog. Now, there's a couple of reasons we're going for this one. One, because it was one of the next releases after Volume 1. But more importantly, this particular set has been announced as going out of print. They're now not reprinting it.
Oh, okay.
But it is currently still available. So
get it whilst you can, folks.
Yes. And Unmatched has proven that when stuff goes out of print, the prices skyrocket.
Yes.
A la Deadpool, Buffy,
and Bruce Lee.
Crazy money on those things. So if you like what you hear when we're talking about it today, now is the time to buy it. You can pick it up for around £35 to £40. It's a 4-character set, but that's covered in the contents. So, Temporary James, what comes in the box?
Well, Jason, what comes in the box? Does that sound right?
That sounds about right, yeah.
What comes in the box is your 4 miniature heroes. You have 120 action cards, 5 health dials, 4 character cards, 4 psychic tokens, and 1 double-sided battlefield board.
Excellente. So, pretty standard stuff. Roughly the same as what you get in most of the 4-player sets. Is there any comments you want to make about the quality or any of the components in particular?
I mean, I've always said this from the start with Unmatched. The figurines for the price you pay are fantastic. Regardless if you paint them or not, they're already shaded at the end of the day, but I've always loved Unmatched's miniatures. Always have.
Yeah.
Again, because this was like 25 to 30 when this first came out. Like Jason said, it's going at Princess a little bit higher. But for the price you pay, it's highest quality that you can.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. The miniatures are just as good as every other Unmatched set that I've got or have played with.
And the detail on the Invisible Man himself is really good.
I mean, they didn't cheap out here. They didn't just give you a base.
Yeah, or just a guy in bandages. He literally is, there is nothing there. It's very good, very clever.
It's really, really cool. I love the way how obviously he's got no head, but they've made the cloak or the top. It's like
the top collar of the hat, the jacket. Sorry,
barely touches his hat.
Yes,
but it looks like the hat is
so great. Nice little detail.
Yeah, so good. Obviously, this is another one that we're here in the UK, so ours comes from Restoration Mondo. So we've got slightly different components when it comes to the sidekick tokens. We get those nice curved edges on ours. The Jurassic Park sets, for example, they're not made by Mondo, and they have the straighter edge because they come straight from Restoration.
I've already just noticed that.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good.
So other than that, there's no difference. We do, however, I want to talk about the board.
Okay.
Because in this set, we got some new stuff.
We did.
On the board. So we've got the board here on the table. I'm trying to figure out, I'm guessing this is meant to be Baker Street.
Yeah, so we've got with the theme of like old London, Baker Street, London on one side.
Hint,
during the
one
night,
of the characters.
During the night time, obviously all the lights are shining on the houses and everything. Very effective for the theme, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. 100%. But the key thing that I take up from here is this is the first board that I remember seeing where you have overlapping pathways.
Most definitely.
So normally you would find all the circles would be connected in one way or another, whereas on this one you've got 2 pathways that overlap. But you can't turn.
I remember seeing it for the first time. I was like, am I adjacent to him or is he actually underneath me right now? It's like I can't really... Oh, yes, I can now, actually.
And on this one, it works really nicely because those overlapping ones are actually on the rooftops of the buildings. That
again, very themed for the characters in this, always jumping on rooftops and stuff. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Nice little touch.
So that's obviously one side of the board. And then the other side of the board introduces us to something else new, which is this is sort of like a...
Inside a mansion,
Inside a mansion, yeah. And one thing that I think whenever you see like mansions on TV or anything like that, in spooky film or the Haunted Mansion films or whatever it be, there's always a hidden passage.
Always, yes.
Always a hidden passage, and that's no different in this one game. There are hidden passages within the mansion and the grounds of the mansion, which is really cool. I love it.
Yes.
Because there's that point where you sort of... you're running away because you're dying or whatever, and then it's like,
I need to get cards, I
need to get away really quickly, especially if you're against the T-Rex, because the T-Rex cannot go through them because it's too big. But yeah, I love it because
I do, yeah.
It's just sort of like, oh well, there's what, four on the board now. If I remember correctly, if you go through the one in the mansion, you have to come out of the one that's in the mansion.
Yes, yeah.
You can't go through the one in the mansion and come out outside.
No. So one for interior, one for exterior, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But how do you think that plays? Did you find that changes the game quite a bit?
Yeah, because I'm sure we're going to go into it later on. There's a certain character in this that does the same effect without using the secret passages. So it's a nice advantage for the other players as well.
Yes.
So I like it for that reason. But again, like you said, it goes with the theme. I like the exterior is a very spooky, like, outside of the mansion, fields as well, and trees, as well as the obviously you got the gates there as well for the mansion itself.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's a good idea that they've introduced it, haven't they? So
yeah, and I like the fact that again, this showed the progression of the game. They added something new, rather than just it's just 4 more characters. It's like, no, we're changing up how the game plays by introducing new things on the board, and later on, especially in the Marvel games. So I guess we can talk about that a little bit because we won't be covering the Marvel games in this series, but like the Marvel games add on things like tokens on the board that you can collect and use and all that kind of stuff. So to me, it shows that they are still invested in the game system and trying to think of new ways to keep it fresh rather than just pumping out new characters left, right, and centre.
Or the fact it's just not just basic boards all the time. Like
exactly,
the first volume literally has just the most basic ever, whereas everyone after that has something on it, regardless.
Exactly. It gives you a reason to want to change the board.
Yeah.
Other than, we might as well just play on the first board because they all do the same thing.
Exactly.
It's just the zones are in a different place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the zones on this one, they're quite sizable. Not like some of them where they've got really small zones.
Yeah.
I think there's one board that has like a 2-space zone. It's crazy.
Does it really? I don't remember that one.
Can't remember which one it is, but I'm sure we'll come to it at some point. But yeah, so that's the board. Anything else you want to talk about component-wise before we talk about the characters that come in this game?
No, I mean, again, apart from the miniatures I mentioned, and of course the artwork on the back of the cards, as always.
Oh, so good.
Goes with the characters as well.
Yeah, artwork is always great in this game. So, gameplay. Well, the gameplay is exactly the same, as normal Unmatched, so we won't talk about that too much because we just rave about it too much.
That's it.
So let's talk about the characters. I will let you have first pick about which character you would like to talk about.
Do
first.
That. Well, I'll go with the granddaddy himself, Mr. Dracula. Mr. Dracula. Mr. Nicolas Cage.
Indeed. Yes, Dracula.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the... I mean, we can safely say now that this is kind of like a Universal monster box set, isn't it?
It is,
will.
Yeah,
so without going too far into, like, we don't have Frankenstein or the Mummy, anything like that. So we've got Dracula to represent the monster side to it. Comes with his brides as well, which is a nice little touch for that as well. His special effect I quite like as well. If there's anyone adjacent to him for the start of the match, they take a damage straight away. As well as if you do hit that person, you will get a card as well for free.
Yep.
Which can or cannot help with this character because, again, if you run out of cards, you've got to take damage.
Yeah.
So you might not want to end up on it, but then sometimes it might work to your advantage, providing you might get specific cards. I think you can transform into a wolf and stuff like that in this game, and which is quite a deadly attack in that card set as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's one of my favorites in this box. It's not my favorite as much, but he's one of my favorites in this one.
I actually agree. I think Dracula is probably the underrated character in the set. I've heard people speak ill of this of this deck, saying it's really underpowered and stuff like that. And I would agree to a level.
Yeah,
but I also think that if you play him right, he could be deadly. You know, like you said, if you prey on his special abilities, you know, he's got a good move. You know, he's standard move. He's 13. His health isn't great. It's only 13.
I class this guy as the King Arthur of this box set.
Yeah.
His attacks are, if you use them right,
if you can get him there.
Yeah, I think one of them is literally a 7-hit. So if you've got no one with defense on that and a 7-hit, that's
something
almighty.
like that. I mean, I've definitely seen a 6-hit card in here, and I'm sure
Something
there's,
6
there's
or 7.
ways of boosting stuff to 7, and
which again King Arthur can do in Volume 1.
It's actually
there you go. That's the one.
The wolf one. You've got beast form. So its base value is 6.
Yeah,
but then during the combat, you may discard any number of cards from your hand, and the value is +1 for every discarded card.
There we go. So
if you've got a full hand, you discard the lot. It's 11 damage.
And again, if no one puts down defense, you can go, well, hang about. 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy powerful, but it's one card. There's one card in the deck. Oh, no, there's 2 of them. Sorry, 2 of those. And just he can't played at the right time.
As I say, it's going to be a luck of what you draw out as well, isn't it? Because that's the thing with this game. One time you can start with crappy cards and then have your good cards at the end, and then vice versa. You can have your good cards at the start, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what I love about Unmatched. It's always unpredictable.
Now, I would probably highlight something on this particular deck, because I've always viewed this as quite a family-friendly game. But some of the
artwork is a bit,
for Dracula is a little bit.
But it's good. I'm glad they've not shied away, because then you're like you'll have guys that say, well, that's not really Dracula.
Yeah.
Like some of there's a few blood smears on here, whatnot. But I'm kind of glad again. It's not like super graphic or anything, but it goes with his character at the end of the day.
Yeah. This is actually one of my favourite pieces of art on the game. It's on the exploit card where he's got like the
he's puppeteering.
His puppeteering. Yes, I love that.
It's like when you put them in a trance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I described this to someone recently when we were playing a game of this, and I showed this card. I was like, this is one of my favourite pieces of art because for me, it kind of symbolises just the general public.
Yeah, absolutely,
and government. Mm-hmm. You know, how we're all puppets.
Yeah, true.
To a degree.
Yeah.
And, it's very basic. It's just got a red background, a sort of gradient red background, but it's really symbolic.
Yeah, again, it's the blacks, it's the reds, it's the greys, all goes with the character himself, isn't it? So
it's kind of like it's noir, but without the black and white.
Yes,
that's the way I would describe the art. It's noir,
exactly, and that's how Dracula started out with the movies, wasn't it? All in black and white, and it's evolved into the Hammers, where there's a little bit of blood and more into it. So again, they followed the art well. Yeah, but again, it's not too violent for kids. I mean, if kids don't know what Dracula is, then they shouldn't really be playing that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great character if you don't know who or what Dracula is. But I think for the game, I think he's pretty good. But I would say he's not the hardest character to play, but I would say he's probably one of the hardest to master.
Oh no, there's someone else who's a lot harder in this one.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, for ease of playing it, I would say he's one of the hardest to learn how to win with Dracula.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he is very difficult to win. That being said, I'm sure I used him for one of my victories in the tournament at Games Expo.
You beat me with Bloody Mary.
It might have been Bloody Mary.
Yeah, that's from Volume 2, yeah. But again, her artwork's very similar.
Yes.
So it's all the blacks, all the greys, all the reds again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very, very nice. That's Dracula.
Your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to go to... We've already covered him a little bit. We know he's in the set. Let's talk about Invisible Man.
Yes, this is my version of the hardest character to play in this.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's the hardest?
I'm not good with him at all.
No?
No. There's a friend of mine who I did play with this when I play this game at work, because I take him to work a lot, who mastered this character. But for me, it's the confusion of the fog tokens on the description.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, so I can put them here, I can put them there, so I can teleport here.
Yeah.
Then you get other cards that say you can lay out and move the fog token. And if you don't keep an eye on it, you forget to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what my biggest issue is with Invisible Man.
Definitely keeping up with the fog tokens is vital with Invisible Man, because that's where his power is all in the fog.
Yeah. It's kind of like his version of the Hidden Passage, isn't it?
So with Invisible Man, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I played with Invisible Man, you move and then you can place a
fog token in your zone somewhere, isn't it?
In your zone or where you land or something along those lines. And then at any point you can move to any fog token anywhere on the board. Something along those lines.
Yeah, and then you can boost it to add defense if he's standing on a fog token, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, I think he's got like 3 different abilities to do with the fog. And again, if you don't keep up with it or master it, then you'll forget that, oh, hang about, I've taken this damage, but I've actually got another 2 defense out of this and whatnot. So, yeah.
No, it's again, I would agree this is a very, very good character in the game, and
he's good at, like, if you maneuver, attack, and maneuver again. If you can somehow gain an extra action somehow, then he can, like, simply punch, walk away, and not catch him at the other end of the board.
Yeah,
that's how annoying he can be.
a lot of the scheme cards in his deck are gain an action.
Ah, there you go.
See,
there we go.
Action. But one of my favourites is, in fact, no. Before I go on to that, a lot of the cards as well. The after effect will be do this much damage, but then your opponent gets to move a fog token.
Ah, yes.
Or you get to move a fog token.
It, yeah.
So there are ways for characters to try and mitigate rather than having basically standing on a fog token and being invincible. By actually fighting him, you get that chance to move his fog tokens away. But yeah, one of my favourites cards in here actually takes him off the board. Which
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's so cruel and horrible because
moody.
There's been a couple of times where I've been pinned down in a corner or what I thought would be pinned down in the corner. It's like, oh, boom, I'm gone. And I'm gone off the table till my next turn. So if you're playing a 2-player game, my opponent's now got nothing.
This is it.
So
you're just going to have to collect cards.
You're collecting cards, and especially if you know towards the end of the game they're running out of cards. Oh, running out of cards. Okay, I'm off the board.
Yeah.
You've got to draw 2 cards.
That's it.
Because there's nothing else you get. I mean, you could play a scheme card if you happen to have one.
Yeah.
But you're more
But then
likely
you might
gonna
not.
be
Exactly. Yeah.
cards.
It's just...
So I love that about him because he's got quite a few of those in the deck. But that being said, his damage is
mediocre.
It's pretty mediocre. He's not a strong character. I think 5, is his highest attack.
And if that, there's only 1 in there, I think.
I believe there's 1, possibly 2. Yeah, 2. 2 of those. And that is his... Because that one's also a powerful one because it also cancels all effects on other people's cards.
Okay.
So it's like his own version of a Fent card, which I don't think he has any of those in his deck. No, he doesn't. So he doesn't have the Fent cards. Which is a pretty staple of most decks. But yeah, anything that stands out to you about Mr. Invisible Man?
Pretty much like I said with just trying to remember all his rules, to be honest. You've already mentioned him coming off the board. I couldn't believe I forgot about that as well. Because someone actually won the game against me with that as well. Yeah. So
I love that ability.
Yes, a very, very annoying character, in my opinion, but not to some people.
But not overpowered.
No. He's well balanced, but apart from that one thing, he's a bit...
Yeah, he's not one of the overpowered characters within the game.
No, I'll save that character for you, sir. Your favourite character.
I don't know. But, yeah... Invisible Man, I think he's good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as hard to win with as Dracula, but he's definitely not as easy to win with as...
He's hard to get close to, let's put it that way, because he can just run away, basically, and burn your cards. So
exactly. He's a mitigation deck, I think, without a doubt.
100%.
But yeah, he's not particularly hard to win with, but someone who's, to be honest, I find quite easy to win with. Is the next character, which is Mr. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes, in my opinion, going back to Volume 1, this is the Alice in Wonderland for Cobble and Fog.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, with his ability is to choose whether he's Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. The only downside to leaving him as Hyde is that you will take a damage after your turn because you have to transform him back to Dr. Jekyll.
Yep.
But he does have the highest health in the game. And I do believe there are cards in here where he can...
I think he had the highest health at the time. I believe there's higher...
no, beg your pardon, no.
The T-Rex is definitely higher, and I think Beowulf
within the box.
Within the box.
And then I've just realised he's got the same health as Sherlock Holmes, so don't listen to me on that one.
I would disagree with that, because one of the things with Jekyll and Hyde is there's no sidekick.
No, there isn't. But his scheme cards, I believe you can place him in any zone, any space on the zone. So that's a good benefit for that character.
He's got his own version of teleportation around.
Yeah, I mean, Jekyll's got to have something in it as well. I mean, it can't just be, Mr. Hyde, I'm going to start punching everyone sort of thing.
I love the balancing factor actually with this character, because if you are in the punching character, it's Jackal that's the harsh hitter, isn't he?
Yes,
Jackal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Mr. Hyde.
Oh, yeah. If you're Mr. Hyde, you're doing damage, but then if you move while Mr. Hyde, you're taking damage for moving, which I do find interesting because it does make you have that sort of play factor of I need to move as the Jackal, but then I really need to change to hide before I start attacking.
You have to time it well. That's the thing with this character.
There's timing.
He's got, so basically his attacks are 5 of Mr. Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
Very much like Invisible Man.
Yep.
But he does have a little stipulation for that. So if you have any Dr. Jackal cards, you can add to the value if you discard them as well.
Yes.
So that is quite, again, if you time it with someone who's got no armor, or no defense, beg your pardon, that is nasty heavy hit. And he's got about 4 of those in that deck compared to 2 Invisible Man's 2 cards. So
yeah, he's very, very powerful. But like I said, because you lack the sidekick, you are the sole opponent. So they will gun for you. There's none of this, I'm sticking my sidekick in front of you to...
There's no Jabberwock
try and take the damage or whatever. It's like, no, they're coming for you.
Yeah.
And you've got a 50-50 split of cards.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yep. I wasn't planning on that one at all. Where, you've got some for Mr. Hyde, some for the Jackal, and obviously rules of the game, you can't play a Jackal card if you're currently Mr. Hyde.
Yes, exactly,
and vice versa. So
I think a lot... I went back to playing Unmatched recently, and I think people forget about that aspect of the cards, is that they are any or named, aren't they?
Yes.
And a lot of people play this card and go, hang on, that's not such and such's card.
Yeah.
So again, I like how certain cards are for certain people with this as well.
Yeah. And it's how they add the theme into these decks as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you could just play these cards no matter what form you take, why would you bother changing form? You know, I'll just stay as the Jackal, not get damaged when I move, and then play the Mr. Hyde cards and do harsh damage. It doesn't work.
No.
You have to have that system in place, and you have to stick to it, because otherwise the theme falls apart.
And it's good that you have to do it at the start of your turn to transform, not just go, maneuver, transform, attack.
Yeah, unless the card specifies. I think some cards tell you to transform.
Yeah, I think some card, a lot of it is turn Mr. Hyde back to Dr. Jackal, but never vice versa.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like that character. I have great fun with it. However, I'm going to say it now, while I find it quite easy to win with this character, I very rarely play it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with Invisible Man for me. He's the least I play in this box. But then Dr. Jackal is my third least in this as well.
Okay. Whereas I find quite a few people actually gravitate to Jackal and Hyde in this one, which is a nice, refreshing thing, because it's nice to see that certain people will go for certain characters, and that's always really good. One of my characters that I love to go for, and this was before I found out how dirtily overpowered this character is. I think it's one of the ones that sold this set to me. It is Mr. Sherlock Holmes and his fateful sidekick, Dr. Watson.
Now, before we go into this character,
yes,
again, we're going back to the theme of this box.
Yes.
Do you feel like Sherlock Holmes is the odd one out?
Yes.
Who do you reckon they could have replaced?
See, this is the thing. I'm really not sure, but I get the feeling that a more
because you think like someone
mythological monster would have fit
sticking
better.
with like the whole London, you said like Baker Street theme to the other side of the deck. I mean, again, you're going back to talking about how this is child-friendly game, but someone like possibly like Jack the Ripper or something maybe could have done it. Or
I would have loved that.
Yeah. It just seems weird that you've got Invisible Man, you've got Jack Shark, you've got Dracula, all these like super type human creatures or whatever, and then Sherlock Holmes. It just seems weird. Yeah. But hey, no, you carry on. So sorry.
And then they make him the most powerful.
They make him the most powerful in the box. How weird is that?
So
carry on, sir.
Where do you start with Sherlock Holmes? First off, he is very powerful, but I think I want to talk about Dr. Watson first, because he's the only ranged character in this box.
Absolutely, you're correct. Yes, I was about to say that as well. Well done.
So that is something that is definitely worth talking about, because, again, sticking with the theme, it's the only one that made sense to be ranged, because obviously Watson carries a gun. And he's dirty as well.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I read the card.
I personally think ranged psychics are dirty, not just Watson himself, but the actual... Because a lot of the psychics in these Unmatched games are just meleeed.
Yes.
And now you've actually got one... I know, tell a lie, Merlin was one in Volume 1, beg your pardon. But yeah, these are, nasty little things.
And I've got to remember the wording correctly on this, because again, it's been a while since I've read the card itself, but the special ability of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson is their personal cards, their named cards, cannot
be cancelled
or blocked.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
So all your Fent cards, useless. Absolutely useless. Going against the Invisible Man, that special ability that he has,
cancelled.
Absolutely cancelled. Whereas going back to that, any cards can be cancelled. So it's only named cards that can be cancelled.
Yes, it's the any cards that can't be.
So that
can be. Sorry,
that in itself makes this character combination disgusting, because you need to be able to block in this, or I mean, you still get to block regardless, because obviously,
but you can't do a bonus after your block or something, can you? Or...
You can't stop their special ability from going through.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm gonna grab some cards out and sort of.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's like a really good card in there, very themed to Sherlock himself, where you have to guess a number.
It's the first card
of the opponent. Oh, there you go. There you go.
So this is one of the things you wouldn't be able to cancel this. So it's during combat. If you predicted, read the first bit of the card first, Jason. Play this card face up. Predict the printed attack value of the opponent card. During combat, if you predicted the correct value, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its attack value.
See what I'm saying?
It's filth.
It's luck-based, of course, but a majority of attack cards are 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Unless you've got an OP card in there.
Exactly. Whatever. But how thematic is that?
Yeah.
That's Sherlock Holmes. That's a Holmes card.
Absolutely.
That's smart art. Let's go Benedict Cumberbatch style.
Yeah.
Holmes here is like, you've got to be that really snidey, like proper sarcastic.
Yes, you do that style. A lot when you play that card, Jason.
Yes, maybe. I think it's a
3. Oh, of course it is.
It's a 3. But yes, I love that. It's really thematic. Again, you're looking at 5s being your top most powerful card.
He's got some good schemes as well, I believe.
He does. I mean, this one's a pretty standard one. Was eliminate the impossible. Choose an opponent, look at their hand, and choose one card for them to
get rid of. Yeah,
that's pretty good. A Dr. Watson one. Place Dr. Watson in a space adjacent to Holmes. Holmes recovers 1 health, and you draw a card. Health recovery.
It seems weird how you've got all these other great characters, but it seems like they put a lot of effort into Sherlock.
Yeah. It really seems like they did, didn't they?
Invisible Man's got some good cards, don't get me wrong, but again, it's just he's an insane character.
I mean, going on that same theme, you've got another scheme here, same principle. Choose an opponent and name a value. Your opponent must choose and discard 1 card matching the attack or defense value. Their hero takes damage equal to the boost value of that discarded card.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's just, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And there's so many scheme cards in this deck, but again, it's very thematic.
He must have the most, surely.
He's got to have one of the most, sure. Yeah, I'm certain he does. And weirdly, the one criticism I think I have with the Sherlock Holmes is he's got the same health as Jekyll and Hyde, which, as we said, is the most.
It seems weird, surely, because he's human compared to the rest of these. He would have possibly the least of this.
Yeah,
maybe
his superpower is his brain, nothing else. But he's the same, same health as Jekyll and Hyde. And he has an 8 health sidekick. Which has range.
And the fact that, Dracula is 13 and all his mistresses are 1.
1, yeah. The undead Dracula.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man, who's literally invisible.
Surely it'd make more sense to swap Dracula and Sherlock's, like Sherlock gets a 13 and maybe, Dracula gets a 16.
Yeah,
maybe.
You sort of compare it to some of the other human characters within the game. Dr. Sattler, 13.
Yeah.
I believe Robert Muldoon is 13.
13, 14, yeah.
The theme here is humans should be 13. I guess extraordinary humans, slightly more.
Yeah.
Big-ass T-Rex, 20-odd.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
There's usually a lot of sense to it, whereas I always found with Sherlock Holmes, there's maybe an element of balance issue.
Yeah.
Would that be something that you would agree with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, this is one of my favourite boxes from the Unmatched series, but then when someone whips out Sherlock before me, I'm like, oh, okay, I think I've lost already, but I still play regardless. But it's kind of weird how you have that little feeling with that character.
Yeah.
I shouldn't, but then again, it's not as, I don't think he's as balanced as the other three characters.
No,
here.
I would agree with you. It's almost as if more work went into making his deck more thematic, but the side effect of that is it's made him too powerful compared to the others. And I'm much the same as you. I find a lot of people will go to Sherlock Holmes first because it's probably the most well known.
Yeah.
And you just automatically sit there going, oh.
Yeah, I try not to pick him because, again, I don't want to be like, I want the game to last. I want to be over nice and quickly one. My go-to usually is Dracula with this box.
Yeah.
But I still won't not play Sherlock. I just think, it's just that, oh, okay, here we go, sort of attitude to it.
I do definitely find myself trying to avoid the more powerful characters that I know are more powerful. But again, that could be because I'm teaching the game a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't, like you said, I don't want to completely obliterate someone and make them have a bad time. But by the same token, I don't want to be obliterated without, having the chance to be actually defensive.
No, I don't want to lose.
I don't want to lose.
I'm going to teach you, but I don't want you to lose.
So yeah, Sherlock Holmes, I think, is easily the most powerful in this box.
I don't think just the box, possibly in the Unmatched universe, personally.
He's definitely up there.
Come on.
He's definitely
If his health was a little bit low, I'd say, all right, there's a slim chance maybe, but yeah, he's definitely one of the most powerful characters in Unmatched.
I've got to admit, I'm really looking forward to the very last episode in this series where we break down all of our characters and what ones we think are the most powerful and two, our favourites.
Nice.
Because I know, especially for me, characters that I feel are the most powerful are not my most favourites to play.
Yeah.
So that, I think, will be an interesting comparison when we do that. But I think Sherlock Holmes is going to be in the top 5.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Of the most powerful characters.
Possibly top 3, regardless.
I think I would agree.
Yeah.
To be honest. But, no influences on anyone.
But wait for the episode, folks.
Wait for that episode. It's months away. But
it doesn't matter. People know it's coming.
It will happen.
We got months to prep.
But yeah, so characters for this set: Dracula,
yay,
Sherlock Holmes, Invisible Man, and Jekyll and Hyde. Do you like this box, Ant?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
This one,
I think this was actually my second box that I bought. So,
do you know what? It was for me as well.
Yeah,
it genuinely was for me. I actually bought this one on, I think it was the same day they announced that it was going out of production.
Oh, okay. You got lucky then.
I sort of was umming and ahhing. I was getting ready to buy Volume 2, and obviously they announced this one, and I think it was Little Red that was announced that they were coming out of production. So it kind of sped up my plans. I was like, well, I kind of need to get this now before they sell out.
Before they go, yeah.
Luckily, I think they had a decent amount of back stock that they've got to sift through. So it is still in stock many, many places, but a few places have inflated their prices slightly.
If it's going out, then yeah.
Knowing full well that they're not going to get it back. But for you, at the £35 to £40 mark, maximum I'd say about £45, do you think this set has value? Is it one of the better ones to go for? Or would you go for something else first?
If you can go for the between 30-40 range, I'd say it's worth it. I wouldn't go more than 40 over it personally. Again, if it's one to go for, it depends on the theme for your liking, to be honest. Again, this is probably the most, we'll go with the horror genre, let's say.
Yeah, dark.
Dark, apart from Buffy, maybe. That's part of the Unmatched universe. Again, if it's your theme, I highly recommend it.
Yep.
Provided you can learn Mr. Invisible's abilities.
Yep.
100%. But yeah, try not to pay more than 40 for it if you can.
Yeah. I think at the moment, like I said, it's still fairly common out there. So I think you can still pick this up for a good price, £35. Certain places, again, if you buy multiple things, you get even more discounts. So that would make it even better. I think component-wise, it's equal to every other Unmatched set. I think this one has a slightly bigger learning curve compared to Volume 1.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Just purely because the abilities are different.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to him. As you said, with Invisible Man, there's different stages of how his abilities work. Jekyll and Hyde, it's the first one where you've got to think ahead. Is like, well, what do I want to do for this turn? Do I need to be Mr. Hyde? Do I need to be Jekyll? But
can you see the connection between this and Volume 1? How some of the characters, like I said, are very much like the characters from Volume 1.
I can definitely see that. Like, you can sort of go, yeah, this is definitely
like
King
Alice.
Arthur.
Do I go big or small at the start and whatnot?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like a carbon copy, of course. We don't want to, nothing is part of that box, but you can see the references to the other characters from Volume 1.
At least I would say Alice has that sort of. I'd actually say Alice is more powerful than Jekyll and Hyde, but at least with Alice, is like you have that decision to make. Do you want to be big or small? But it doesn't affect what cards you can use.
Yeah.
Whereas with Jekyll and Hyde, it does. If you go, oh, I'm going to be Jekyll, and then look at your hand and go, oh, hang on a minute, I've got all Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Then you're stuck. Yeah. You can't use a card on it, can you? Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more planning.
Yes.
When it comes to Jekyll and Hyde, but as we will reveal in later sets, I think there's more that are even more complex.
Oh, absolutely.
Than that.
So definitely.
I like this one because it did add something new. I like the fact they updated the board. I like the fact that the characters are a bit more in depth. It sort of gave me a good reason to buy this set. It's probably not my most played set.
Yep.
But I've definitely played this one quite a lot. I think it has value.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can't do a collection status here. I've got all the sets now, and that's not going to change. So,
but again, the beauty of this game is that it doesn't need to be part of this box set. Take a character out and put it in a different box set. Play with that.
Exactly.
God, I love Unmatched.
Do you think, as one closing thing I would ask you about this one, if you were sitting down to play a game of Unmatched, could you play with nothing but this box? So if someone wanted to buy one single box of Unmatched, is this one that you would say is worth it?
That is a toughie.
Spanner in the works.
That definitely is a spanner in the works. What would you say to it?
I'll be honest, I don't think I would.
No?
No. If it's the only one, I think there are...
Is that because it's gone up in value though, Jason?
I mean, there's that. That's a selling point.
Yeah, true.
Well, you could get it, and if you don't like it, hold on to it for about a year and then flog it.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't sell mine, again, because I'm a major fan of the theme.
Yes.
So...
I think, again, this comes down to a personal thing. If you love these characters, then yeah, of course, this is going to be the set for you. But if it's the only set you want, I think there's better set. I'd probably, while some of the characters are a bit weak, I'd probably take Volume 1 over this one.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
But that's because I really enjoy Alice. I love playing Sinbad because it's a challenge. I mean, if you want to lose, you play King Arthur.
But I don't know. I quite like King Arthur personally, but
it's good fun, definitely.
But you need to do Sinbad versus Sherlock Holmes. There's a match right there.
Yeah.
And if you're fans of Unmatched, you understand why I've said that.
Definitely. If you're not, well, go and find out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great fun. But yes, there you go. So go on. What's your thoughts? Would you say this is?
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you were saying about it's probably my least played box set of Unmatched as well. But again, I need people that are familiar with the theme or the characters, or someone that doesn't want Sherlock Holmes in their box. I really like this at the end of the day. I could not have it in my collection because, again, I'm a fan of the theme. Growing up watching my, monster universes and stuff like that. The weird part of Sherlock Holmes being in the box hasn't affected me as much. I love the character. It's just he's an odd character for that box, but still somehow goes with the theme. If you look at the board, what I'm looking at here right now, you'll understand why I've said that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice. Very good thoughts. So, any closing comments? Or should we say goodbye?
Play Unmatched, everyone.
Play Unmatched.
Just play Unmatched. It's an amazing game.
That's going to be the theme at the end of every one of our Unmatched episodes. Just play it.
Just
go
play
out and
it.
Buy it all.
Exactly.
Get the lot.
Apart from the Marvel stuff, go get the rest.
Yeah. Well, unless you love Marvel.
Yeah.
No one be needing Marvel in their damn games. There you go. Right. So that is Unmatched, Cobble and Fog. I want to thank you, Anthony, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on, sir.
Thank you very much for stepping in last minute to fill the boots of James, even though you were going to be here anyway.
I'm glad I got his blessing before I did it. That was my main worry. That you put it on air one day and he's like, why the hell is this man here?
So he's probably going to come out next week because what I've done is I've lied to you and said, oh, yeah, he gave his blessing, yeah. And he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he doesn't know.
Hopefully he'll be back next week. So, but if you like me as Jason's host, folks, please comment below. Let us know. Hashtag replacement.
Or audition.
Or edition.
Who knows? Who knows? You never know. But yeah, it's always a pleasure having you here. Good, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You obviously have a podcast of your own. Would you like to plug that just a tiny little bit now?
Oh, it's very kind of you, sir.
Your professional voice.
Shall I do the radio voice?
Yeah, the radio voice.
The radio voice. Well, hi, guys. My name's Anthony, or as well as my friends know me as the Ant-Man, and I host a podcast called the MTVB Podcast. It's the podcast where I talk about my four favorite subjects as movies, TV shows, video games, and of course, board games. Every week is a different episode based on a top 5 subject. It could be about one of those 4 topics. We are currently running season 7 at the moment at the time of recording this episode. Nearly on that way to the 100th episode as well. So please, if you like any of those topics, give us a listen. We're everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're there.
You'll enjoy it when you get to 100, mate. I'll be honest.
I think I've got to stop at 100. I'll be honest with you, mate. So.
I can't even remember what it's like only doing 100.
You guys must be nearly 200 by now, surely.
I believe this is something like 157.
Oh, okay. Nearly there?
Yeah. Something like that.
Nice.
It's too long.
You've done a lot better than me, mate. I wish I could do my podcast weekly, honestly.
Oh, no. It's not that easy, I can tell you that. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. I had to get you in. Talking about Unmatched.
Please. I want to be on every Unmatched episode, personally.
I genuinely want to try and get you on.
Yeah.
Because you are the man that got me into this game, and therefore I got James into it. And damn it, I finally got James to buy an Unmatched set.
You did.
And then it ended up in my box, which is win-win-win.
Win-win-win for everyone here.
But yeah, really, really good game. Really, really enjoy it. This is why we don't talk about the game, because we will always wax lyrical about it. But it's nice to talk about the characters, because sometimes you do just need to break down and talk about those characters. And this is... I think we've now done 10 in total, because we did volume 1, which is obviously 4. We've done this one now, and originally me and James did the...
You did the Dr. Sattler and T-Rex, yes.
And Sattler. So we're currently on 10, I think.
Still a few more box sets to go, sir.
14 more to go? 14 characters more, I think.
Not including Marvel.
I've lost track. But yeah, no Marvel and no Buffy. Because my bank ain't paying that.
No chance. £100 for one figure? No chance.
Exactly. Anyway, let's go. We've been nattering for over an hour. So, yeah.
Say goodbye.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me, Ant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on.
And we will have you on again very, very soon. Until next week, I have been Jason.
I have been Ant-Man.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.